The hosts feel it would be a little unkind to present this podcast without just a word of friendly warning. We are about to unfold the story of Frankenstein, a man of science who sought to create a man after his own image without reckoning upon God. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. It deals with the two great mysteries of creation, life and death. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to. Well, we've warned you.
Hello and welcome once again to the Frankencast. I'm the mad scientist Anthony Bowman. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joined as always by...
Eric's puberty reawakening, that is, Eric Velasquez. Wait a second. There is a certain actress who, we're going to meet her in a moment. So, but yes, so there's deep Eric lore.
Yeah. So, we're here with Matinee. Eric, I'm glad to have you back.
Yay!
I feel like Matinee is one, like, weird things keep coming up, and I keep being like, next week we're going to do Matinee, and then we move it and then rearrange things and stuff, but we're finally doing Matinee.
It's me. I'm the thing that keeps coming up. I'm the problem.
But this is just such a, this one's a little bit more of like a stretch to the Frankensteininess, but it's very much like when we did The Fly. The story
very
within
much.
The story is very The Fly coded or inspired by.
Right.
But this is just a really fun movie. You got John Goodman. It's just great. This is just a really good time kind of movie.
Heck yeah, it is. It's got a bunch of classic actors. Holy crap. Like, what we have, Dick Miller, who's the general. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up. General Ankrum is
yeah. Yeah, he's in like one scene, but he's definitely like one of those guys that you're like, oh man, I've seen him in so many things.
Right. Kevin McCarthy, that's the guy.
Oh, okay.
Kevin McCarthy as General Ankrum. We got Dick Miller, General Ankrum. Obviously, John Goodman.
Yeah.
And
we also got Robert Picardo.
Yeah.
Who, I mostly know from Star Trek.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's
Kathy Moriarty. Anyway.
Yeah, she's definitely in so many good things. I think I mostly think of her from Raging Bull, but she's been in all kinds of stuff.
Apparently, Casper is where I got my taste in women. We'll just say that. How about
and then, of course, this is directed by the great Joe Dante, who's done so many great things. I mean, mostly Gremlins is what I think of from him, but just a great, lover of the genre film.
Right.
Yeah.
He loves his horror comedy horror. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's got to have a little bit of both in everything he does, right?
And he also really loves this kind of self-referential stuff that's like movies where movies take place within them. I mean, one of the biggest scenes in Gremlins is when they're in the theater, and there's all that stuff going on, and that's feels very similar to this. Like, this is very much a love letter to genre film, and specifically the William Castle kind of the exploitation stuff that plays with the audience and everything. Just a super super fun story. And then of course we got John Goodman as the sort of Hollywood director, which right away, if you didn't know what you were getting into, we start out with bomb test footage, mushroom clouds and stuff, and then we have John Goodman in a very Alfred Hitchcock Presents kind of thing. So he's he's sitting in a director's chair smoking a cigar,
and talking about atomic mutations.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that was the thing? By the way, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles apparently is coming back in a strong way.
Yeah, there's a couple things. I think they're getting a live action movie, an animated movie, maybe a TV series.
Right.
And also, apparently, like, they're going to get pizza restaurants. There's going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle restaurants.
That's dumb. That's officially stupid. All right. But yeah, he's talking about, imagine if you had an ant and you mashed them together with a man. Maybe you could make a MANT.
Yeah. So obviously the MANT is it's sort of like them plus the Fly mixed together. Right. But and he's doing the whole sensational thing where it's like, this is a film based on scientific fact, and it's a guy turning into an ant monster.
This is things that have been in national magazines. He quickly flashes a bunch of comic books and like men's magazines from the time.
Yeah, it's so good. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be presented in Atomovision.
Whoa! Everything was a type of vision back then, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we see that this is all a trailer, which is, again, a thing that we don't get anymore, these kind of trailers where the director is telling you about the movie. Like, now it's just quick cuts of clips from the film.
It basically is just the movie in short form.
Yeah, all the best parts, so you don't even have to go see it anymore. But yeah, here he's selling it. He's selling you on his movie. And so we see, that there are two brothers in the theater watching this, and they're going to be our sort of like main characters, Dennis and Gene.
Right.
And so we see, there's that, and then like we just cut to them leaving, like after the movie they were watching is over or whatever.
We get we also get the MANT groping a woman, which surprisingly comes back a couple times.
Yeah. But yeah, out front there's like they're already setting up display stuff for MANT. They're really promoting the hell out of this movie.
I love the throwback to Vincent Price and Poe's Tales of Terror.
Yeah. I think they're like on the marquee. It's like a double feature is what's going on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we have this great sort of scene with these two brothers, and like the younger one is like, but could a MANT really happen? Like he said that was based on fact, and the brother's kind of like, the older brother, he's like, yeah, I heard it happened already in Tennessee,
right?
Just scared his little brother. It's great, and they bump into another kid on the street who's like wants to hang out, and Gene is the older brother, and he's like, no, we're busy, we got to get home, and so they get home, and like they talk to their mom. Their mom's like finishing up dinner, and she's asking about the movie and all that. And she doesn't really approve of the scary movies, but she appreciates that Gene lets Dennis play, go tag along with all the things he does and stuff.
Right. Meanwhile, we get a little misogyny on TV.
Yeah, it's very like. Yeah, what was on the TV?
It's an old show. I forget the name of it, but like he's doing a thing with two white rats, quote unquote, and it's like they're apparently supposed to be hair rats, which I would think those are raps. But what do I know? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's some sort of like game show-ish kind of thing. Like
It's like what's it called? Price is Right, but mixed with Fear Factor.
Yeah. But yeah, we were really kind of setting the stage. This is obviously, it's a period piece. Like this movie came out in the 80s, but it's set in like the
90s. It came out in 93.
Oh, and, okay.
But it's based on the 60s, which is weird because, around the late 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of 60s nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah, this was around the time that we had like the Wonder Years was on TV and like, I guess Happy Days had ended by that point, but yeah, we were really like kind of, I guess Happy Days was in the 80s, nostalgic for the 50s. Right. So now we're in the 90s, we're nostalgic for the 60s.
Boy, how does it feel knowing that the 80s are nostalgia now, huh?
Yeah. It's
hurts a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I'm around a lot of like teens now, and I'm just like, oh God, you're just like doing all the things that, it hurts. Yep. But we're getting, it's clearly very idyllic. Like, Joe Dante is definitely, he's nostalgic for this time for sure.
This was when he was a kid, right?
Exactly, yeah. And so we find out like, this family, it's just the three of them. The dad's not there, but like he's not out of the
He's not-
picture. He's
Right. He's at work,
Yeah.
which is the military.
Yeah, he's in the military, and this is specifically set during like the Cuban Missile Crisis, and he has been deployed. He's in a ship blockading Cuba right now. So we're definitely combining this thing where we have this like the 60s horror of like nuclear mutation and monsters and stuff. The reason those movies existed is because we were terrified of actual nuclear stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that Godzilla, came up after we bombed Japan and stuff. And so this is, America being afraid during the Cold War. And so, yeah, we've got the Cuban Missile Crisis and MANT happening in that intersecting. And so we're really kind of setting the stage for that time.
And to be fair, the Cold War only ended, almost 40 years ago, and is effectively picking itself back up.
No
just because. Yeah.
Yeah. But like their mom is kind of worried. Like, I guess they've been deployed. Like, they're living close to a base where their dad was, deployed or working, but like now he's been deployed.
Zero.
Yeah. So they're new to the area, and she's really worried that like Gene and Dennis aren't making friends. So it's interesting. Like, they had this kid that wanted to hang out with them, and Gene was like, "Nah, we don't want to hang out with you."
Because he wanted to go shoot bullfrogs. I understand. It's like, that's a little weird, buddy. That's sociopathic behavior.
Yeah. But it seems like maybe, Gene is a little, like, he's kind of army brat, he's moved around from base to base. And I think he's just kind of, like, burned out on, like, trying to make a friend, and then it's hard, and they think I'm a weirdo because I'm the soldier kid and whatever. Yeah. And then I move again anyway. So, like, why put all that effort in? And he's just kind of given up on it.
Very much so.
Yeah. And so I think then we have, like, that evening we have like Dennis is watching some sort of variety show that gets interrupted by JFK talking about the missile crisis, and the risk of nuclear war and all this. And so then it's kind of like a parallel to the Gene and Dennis after the theater conversation, where like later that night Dennis is like, is Dad in Cuba? Is Dad gonna get hurt with like
hopefully not.
So, yeah. So there's this like. We're afraid of everything right now, and this poor kid, his dad's not around. All he has is his older brother. But whereas, earlier he was kind of fucking with him, like, oh yeah, totally, there's a MANT in Tennessee.
Here, and now he's more like a father figure in a way.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, we're all scared right now. It's really scary, but Dad he's doing his best. He's working to keep us safe, and like that. Yeah, that makes him a little less safe than we are, but that's because our dad's really brave. Like he's being a really good older brother in these moments that matter. So that's pretty sweet.
I feel like all brothers, siblings fuck with each other, right?
Yeah, you gotta. Like, I mean, that's just part of being a sibling. But yeah, when it counts here, he's
Steps
not
up.
Doing that. Yeah.
By the way, we do get a cameo from Frankenstein in a drawing in the background.
Yeah,
So
which is
that.
nice. They're just, monster kids. We relate.
And as I feel like everything was going on in the 90s, we were very lion-themed back then, because In the Jungle, the Lion Sleeps Tonight starts playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they play that, they're trying to calm down and distract themselves to fall asleep, and they're, and I think this song will come up again. I think there's a sort of metaphor here too, that like, the lion is something dangerous, but when it's asleep, maybe things are okay. Cool. And that's sort of where we are with the Cold War, is like, there's a lion, but hopefully it continues to sleep, like, so I think then like we cut from them as they go to sleep to like the next day we see Lawrence Woolsey, and he's got his girlfriend with him,
Ruth Corday.
Yeah, and they have stopped at a gas station, and they're in the middle of nowhere. But
obviously it's not a great relationship, because she's like, yeah, I'm pretty much going to leave you after this because we got nobody.
Yeah, they're definitely like kind of on the rocks. He's a director. She's like acting in his movies, but like, they're things are not great between them at this point, because he's not being successful, and he's also so focused on trying to be successful that he's not really being a good partner.
Right.
And
she wants more of the relationship, and he's not able to provide it right now.
Yeah, and like, to that point, like they're traveling because this is the era where like, exploitation films would be like on a traveling circuit. Like they wouldn't just hit every theater at once. So he's, we know the theater where Gene and Dennis live are getting ready to do a big promotion. He's going to be there. He's on his way to their town to promote his film. And
coming to your town soon. Right.
Yeah, and she's like, but there's all this Cuban Missile Crisis stuff, and we got a nuclear movie. Is this
who's
going to
watch this? Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's free publicity. Like people are scared about nuke stuff. They're going to want to go see safe nuke stuff. This is great. This is perfect.
I mean, he's right though, right? Because that's exactly like horror movies kind of are inoculation against actual fears, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why these movies happened at this time period for sure. And we have like a great bit where there's like the kid pumping gas is like, you make scary movies, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I sure do. And he wants his autograph.
Yeah, she's like,
and then he's like,
all right.
Yeah, I think he signed something and the kid takes it and he's like, thanks so much, Mr. Hitchcock. And it's like, it's really good.
Yeah, sure, that's me. Yeah. That's funny. But then we get to cut to the kids in school now, and they're learning about the 3 basic food groups, which are pork, beans, and more pork, apparently.
Yeah, which is, it's funny, like, clearly Joe Dante is nostalgic for this time, but he's not afraid to, like, poke fun at some of the stuff about, like, how things were back then.
But then he decides to hit us with trauma specifically, because do you remember doing the nuclear bomb drills back in the day?
Yeah,
Getting your butt out in the middle of the hallway near the lockers and just basically
put a book over your head.
Right. It's like, and everyone knew what exactly Sandra is going to be saying in that, what the fuck is this doing? We're all going to die.
Yeah, she like gets like kind of like all the other kids are doing the duck and cover thing, and she's kind of getting like dragged down the hall, and she's like, you think a book's going to protect you from a nuke? And the other kids are like, yeah, I mean, we're not supposed to. She must be a commie or something, right? Because we're not supposed to say that. We're all supposed to pretend.
Right. We're all supposed to just go along with it, right?
Yeah. And then we go to lunch, and some kids like ask Gene if he'll sit with them, and they're like, "Your dad's like out doing like he's in the blockade, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so suddenly he's gone from like the weird army brat kid is like a weirdo to now like these kids are like, oh, your dad is maybe gonna save us, like
right.
So
you're our hero
cool
now
all of a sudden. Yeah. So he's like he sees it right away and he's like, oh yeah, he starts talking it up, like he's like, this is my chance to like have a normal friendship maybe. And so they talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis. They talk about scary movies. Gene knows a lot about scary movies, and the kids think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And basically he makes a best friend in Stan over this.
Yeah. And Stan is probably, of the kids, he's probably the one that is most recognizable to us today.
Yeah.
He is from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
And also from Erie, Indiana. If you watched that was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
And so I think we have like, we have this group talking, and then they kind of like, Gene and Stan kind of like, go off and keep talking together. Stan is like, giving him advice on how to get a girlfriend so that they can, have a date to go to the movie when it premieres. And Stan's like, this girl, that's Sherry. I have a crush on her, and they all kind of talk or whatever. And Sherry seems impressed, that Gene's dad is one of our boys, fighting the good fight and everything.
Yeah.
And I think then we just have like them heading home after school. And again, in one of those like classic the '60s things, they're sneakily listening to a Lenny Bruce record,
right? Which basically was George Carlin. Carlin, yeah, sorry, yeah. Which before he was Carlin, right?
Yeah, and like Lenny Bruce, like he was so edgy at like he went to jail several times. For like indecency for just a stand-up comedy set. The things he was saying were so edgy,
quote unquote. Now it's basic comedy.
Yeah. If you've seen the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Lenny Bruce is a character in that, and like they really do a good job of like kind of he's like a secondary character, but they really are telling his story through these other characters.
Right.
That I really liked that show. It was I don't think a lot of people watched it, but it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I think then like Stan's mom gets home and they have to switch records real quick and put some music on. And I think then they they head outside to go play since his mom got home, and they go down to the beach where like there's soldiers, like they're getting ready to like deploy more soldiers out into the ocean. Like they're setting up like like as you said, like a ground zero on the beach here.
Right.
So like it's very present. The Cuban Missile Crisis, if you're where we are in the Midwest, it's kind of scary, but they're like right
Ground
there
zero,
where it's happening.
Literally,
yeah. And I think then like we have we go like it's like later that night, they're watching the UN hearings as like mom is cooking dinner again.
Yeah.
And this is real hearings, and somebody says something about like what the hell or something in the thing, and then like a little later Dennis says it in front of his mom, and she's like, where are you hearing such language like that? And Gene's like, on the news.
Yeah.
Like
the UN told them.
Yeah. So she's like, why don't you all go see like some family friendly movies? You've been seeing spooky movies. So
they my uncle was a shopping cart or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Which that was a thing, right? There was like the guy who became a sheepdog, and then Herbie the Love Bug, and then
My Mother the Car, I think was one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get a couple scenes here that like Joe Dante has filmed these fake movies, and they're ridiculous. We have like a girl like her like talking to a shopping cart, and the shopping cart like moves on its own,
saves her from robbers.
Yeah, it's so silly, but it's definitely a thing from the time. Yeah. And Dennis and Gene are like super bored. They're not into this.
Nah, it's lame, right? Even for them.
And then we see like outside there are protesters already protesting in front of the theater because of MANT. That this is this is filth basically.
Of course, we have buckets of blood star Dick Miller saying, "Oh, this is disgusting and awful."
Yeah. And then that's when Lawrence Woolsey arrives, and he comes out and he gives this speech about his film and like how it's important and the free speech and blah, blah. Like he's really pontificating to the crowd and everything, and he starts handing out free passes to people.
By the way, we didn't mention the other guy is John Sayles, who is mainly a director, writer, and sometimes actor.
Yeah, there's two guys, Dick Miller and this other guy, that are like leading this protest. And then like Gene and Dennis get free tickets here, and then we have like just later they're at home and Gene's flipping through like his Fangoria famous monster type magazines, and he sees a picture of one of the protester guys.
Right. He's like, wait a second.
Yeah, and he's like, wait, this is a Woolsey film. This still, and he's like, okay, I see. Like, clearly Woolsey hired fake protesters to like drum up publicity for his showing.
Right. So he has, of course, as a kid, it is what to do. He's like, I'm gonna tell him that I'm on to you. Yeah. And of course, Woolsey's like, you're a smart kid. Good job, kid.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have I think we have that happening, and we also have some scenes with Stan and Sherry.
Right.
And Sherry
mentioned Harvey Starkweather.
Yeah, which I think is probably like a reference to like Charles Starkweather, which is also sort of like a big news item around that time. I was like a killer,
but also a beatnik poet.
Yeah, so her boyfriend, he's a bad boy, he's kind of a greaser, he's got a leather jacket, that kind of thing, and he's in jail right now, but he sends her poetry all the time.
Well, he's not in jail, he's in juvie. I mean, they're not far off, but yeah.
And but Sherry, she's got the very clean cut, Sandra D kind of thing going on. But you find
she's into the D. She's dropping hints left and right.
Yeah, she says that that he taught her a lot about her body and her desires and stuff. So like, yeah, there's some stuff going on there.
I believe she says it was very good for me, which, okay, sure.
Yeah, and
You're a little young, but sure.
We see that, like, as they're having this conversation, her and Stan, we see that X is out. He's not a juvie anymore, and he's watching. And of course, we get the needle drop of my boyfriend's back, and you're going to be in trouble. So then we have, like, we know this couple's kind of forming up of Stan and Sherry. And we see at school, Jean is connecting with Sandra. The protest girl who was yelling about the duck and cover thing, right. And she's surprised to hear that Jean's dad is in the blockade and everything, and then I think we have, like, later they're headed home from school, and this is when Harvey, like, catches Stan by himself and, like, I think kind of holds him up against a wall and is like, you stay away from Sherry, she's my girl.
Right, like I wrote in my poem one time, because I'm self-referential, and that's a very great thing to be, is like, this life is like a big knife, a very big knife. Okay, all right, buddy, calm down.
Yeah. But while that's going on, that's when we see the scene with Jean talking to Woolsey. And Woolsey's like, yeah, you got me, kid. Why don't you stick around? I could use a smart kid like you. I need help around here. Right. And Jean's like, yeah, I wasn't trying to ruin anything. I just thought it was cool. I just wanted to talk to you about it. So Woolsey gives him a tour of the theater and is like, I'm setting up these, like, buzzers in the seats, again, the castle thing, like, the classic one that they had was, like, the tingler that, like, got you on the back of the neck during the movie.
Right. And I love how the theater owner, played by Robert Picardo, is like, oh, maybe we shouldn't literally destroy my theater to get all this stuff in there. And, of course, Woolsey's like, yeah, you'll be fine. It'll be great. You'll make money off it.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that radio in your pocket doing? Can I see that? And just proceeds to steal his pocket radio.
Yeah, because the theater owner's whole deal is, like, he is next level paranoid about things. Like, he is constantly listening to the news. I don't know if it's right now or a little later, but we find out he's got a bunker built under a bomb shelter built under the theater.
Did this movie inspire Fallout? Because I feel like it might have.
Yeah. There's definitely some of that. It's, but I think then we have. I think Woolsey
it didn't come out until '97. Okay, so this was 4 years prior. Just saying.
Yeah, could be.
Matinee inspired Fallout. Okay, sorry to derail you.
No. So we get. I did really like Woolsey kind of talks about his, like, theory around why people like scary movies, which is, I think, good. Like, he says, when we were cavemen, some hunters would go out, they'd have an encounter with a mammoth, and it was dangerous. You would be. Yeah, once it was over, there was, like, this thrill that you made it through it and you're okay. And you'd get home and you'd draw a mammoth on the wall so you wouldn't forget that feeling, that fear and the exhilaration that came afterwards and stuff. And, like, that's the first scary movie.
Right, but people also saw that and was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, oh, maybe I can make the tusks bigger and make it scarier. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. And
I think he's probably more right than this movie knows. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, because that's where the whole storyteller tradition comes from, right? Like, sometimes you want to see heroes be heroes, but sometimes you want to hear about the ghost story. You like the spooky thing down the road. Yeah. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, we have those stories in, like, every culture, and there's definitely a reason.
Exactly.
But
he also talks about his history, where he was basically scared by people in, I believe he said, Hatfield, Missouri was his place of origin.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and he survived, and he was like, yeah, that made me want to share that with others.
Yeah. And, like, sort of to, like, really put a button on that whole thing, he's trying to show Jean some of the, like, the effects or whatever, and Jean touches something and, like
whoa, that's a live wire.
Shocked. Yeah.
By the way, how insane having a actual live wire just chilling beside you.
Yeah, crazy. And it worked. It it's the same thing there where, like, I think both Jean and Woolsey are just like, whoa, that was really scary, and we're okay now, and we do feel that, like, adrenaline rush, and, you know, it kind of, like, really kind of brings that theory home, yeah. So...
And then we have, like, later...
Yeah. Stan calling up Sherry, and, of course, he also had his scary moment.
I have to call off our date because of reasons. Fake reasons, but they're reasons.
Yeah, he's like, you know, I've been told I need to volunteer to help put up sandbags for the blockade, so, you know, out in front of the school and all this. And she's like, you can't do it earlier in the day? Like, we can still go in the evening or whatever. And he's like, no, it's... Yeah. And I think as she kind of hangs up with him, her brother barges into her room, and he found some love letters between her... Yeah. And they, like, have some pretty edgy stuff in them. And he's like, I'm going to show these to Mom and Dad unless you take me to see Mant. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll take you. I don't have any plans now anyway, so I might as well. So then we have, like...
well, then we cut to start.
Harvey.
Yeah, in a bar.
Yeah.
Wait, how... The kid can't be 18. Like, I feel like even 18 was a required age, or maybe I'm wrong completely.
Yeah, I would have thought so. But he ends up bumping into the two fake protesters who try to recruit him to their protest organization. Right. And he ends up he pickpockets them, and he thinks he's really smart. But then they catch him right away because they're crooks too, you know. They were, and so they right away know what he's up to, and they like catch him, and they kind of rough him up a little bit, but not too much, because they're like, we could use somebody like you, like, you know, we're kind of outside the law as well, and now that we know your true deal. Yeah, we really want to recruit you in a different way. But
clearly these guys were street toughs. For sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we go from that to Woolsey at the theater, and he's giving a big speech before the big opening night.
Patent march.
Yeah. I mean, they're really playing up this is about, you know, the films are they're inspiring to us. It's magic. It, you know, and
everyone's important, from the old ticket taker to, you know, just the people running the projector to everyone in the theater.
Yeah,
that's nice, actually.
Yeah, this feels like this is Joe Dante kind of saying his piece in the movie. I think like he gives this big speech, and then he goes backstage where, you know, his two sort of like sidekicks are like, we hired this new guy to help us out. And they've put him in a MANT costume, and they're like, oh man, this is going to be great. This is going to be the perfect thing. We're really going to bring the film out into the audience, which was also a big thing at the time. You know, like we would do this thing where, like, you know, a monster might run down the center aisle and scare everybody at a point in the film or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Woolsey starts giving the same speech again to them, like he just can't help himself. And then we have, like, back at home, I think Jean is in bed, and it's one of those, like, he wakes up and he hears voices, and he's like, oh, is that Dad? Is Dad home? And he goes outside, and then there's, like...
a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, and then he wakes up in bed. It's like, you know, it's a dream within a dream kind of thing. But so then he gets up and does walk back to the living room, and here he sees his mom alone in the living room watching home movies of them with their dad, and she's just crying.
Yeah. That sucks.
And again, this feels like we're really leaning into, like, what movies can do. There's all kinds of things movies can do, and this is one of them, you know. And she's really, like, having an emotional moment that's, like, you know, it's bittersweet. She put them on because she wanted to have this sort of cathartic moment of, like, sadness and missing her partner and all of that. And Gene is kind of smart enough to know, like, this is a moment that Mom needs, and I don't need to be a part of it. So he just, you know, sneaks back to his room without her knowing that he saw this.
Yeah. Cut to the next day, kids are groping the MANT statue that they've planted out in front of the theater.
This is such a kid thing. Of course we're going to do this. You know,
we got to touch
can't
it.
Resist.
Yeah.
And
this is where we see Picardo in the bomb shelter. Which is
he's got
ridiculous.
his little radio again, and he's listening in to the news. Mm-hmm. And
literally timing his, like, the seconds to get from point A to point B.
Yeah,
in case he
yeah. I
needs
mean,
to.
like this is the first sort of version of like Doomsday Prepper was like this
Yeah.
time period, and he's very much that. Like he's ready.
By the way,
and-
doomsday prepping, at least since the 60s, probably before that. Still hasn't happened
Yeah.
yet. Just saying.
Yeah. And so, people are starting to line up for the big grand opening or whatever, and we have Sherry, who's been dragged here with her little brother, bumping into Stan, who, like, since he had to, he broke their date off because he didn't want,
Right.
Starkweather to kill him. But
He's
now,
not brave enough to actually say, hey, your ex threatened to literally murder me.
Yeah. But, now his lie has come out. He's not doing sandbags, so now she's upset that
It's
he
over.
lied to her or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that didn't go well. And then we just have, like, people starting to, like, file into the theater.
We get a notification, hey, that's enough that's going up on the balcony, because any more, and it'll probably destroy the balcony.
Yeah, there's a weight limit up there. We also have the classic thing where, Woolsey's got his girlfriend. Not only is she in the film MANT,
Right.
but they're doing the thing where she's out front, dressed as a nurse, making people sign
Signing
waivers.
But to
This
put a
movie's
point out, a
so
kid's
scary.
like, yeah, to put a point out, a kid's like, hey, nurse, I've literally, like, cut my arm all the way up and I'm bleeding profusely. Can you help me? And she's like, yeah, you want to go see a doctor about that, kid.
Yeah, she's like, that's gross. Like,
Yeah.
it's really good. Meanwhile, Jean bumps into Sandra, who's there with her parents, and her parents are great. Like, so they're like, kind of like lefty academic people, and they're like
Also,
they're
the most
two-
90s couple I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, did they even put these guys in wardrobe, or did they just walk, like, did they just show up like that?
Yeah. But like they're really funny because like they're too highbrow,
Progressive.
too smart to be into this kind of trashy film, but they're here because they support free speech and they want to fight against those protesters that were out here trying to stop it. So
Bullshit. They
they're-
like this shit. They just don't want to say that. That's pretentious bullshit, and you know it. You and I both
Yeah.
know that. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's like a display in the in the like lobby that's like an anthill with a human hand, like a giant anthill with a human hand reaching out
With
of it, and they're
an
like, oh,
actual
wow.
ant, one actual ant.
Yeah. So yeah, she's and in that classic, like, we're really forward-thinking progressive parents.
Yeah.
Sandra calls her parents by their first name. She doesn't call them mom and dad, which was
Right.
such a weird thing at that time that, like, people would, like... Some people did that, and other people thought it was horrible and so disrespectful, and who cares, whatever.
Yeah.
But then we cut from all of that going on up front to, like, backstage, where Woolsey is giving Starkweather a rundown of, like, okay, this turn these lights on when this scene happens, flip this switch when this happens.
But
run
whatever
out
you do,
dressed
don't
like
go
the man
above
when-
6. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
so they've got this idiot back
Rumble
here
drama.
dealing with a bunch of equipment that he probably shouldn't. Theater manager walks through, and Woolsey's like, "Don't forget, as soon as this showing's over, I want my take of the doors in cash." So he's probably used to getting screwed over by theater owners, and he wants to make sure that he's making his money.
Yeah. I mean, Harvey kind of gives him the same thing, right? Like, hey, you're going to pay me as soon as this is over, right? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he
Yeah.
goes to Picard. I'm like, hey, you're going to pay me as soon as this is over, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So telling you they're cut from the same cloth.
Absolutely, yeah. So, then we go out into the theater, the crowd's all amped up, they're chanting, "Mant, Mant, Mant."
We want Matt.
Yeah, and then the film starts, sort of similar to the first movie we talked about, the 31 Frankenstein, where
Yeah.
Woolsey is just there warning people about how scary the movie is. I love this kind of, like, sort of manufactured hype around a movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's just great.
You just don't get that now. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have in the lobby, Woolsey runs into the guy who owns this whole chain of theaters. So Picardo is like the manager of this one location, but this guy is the guy, if we get in good with this guy, we're going to get
we're
a
set.
deal where, like, this movie will play across the whole region, and that'll be great. So we really need to impress him. And so for the rest of the movie Matinee, we're going to have a lot of clips of the movie MANT, kind of back and forth, which is really fun. We're going to get a lot of what MANT is in it.
Yeah, surprisingly a lot.
Yeah. In sort of, I think that we have a guy who he gets bitten by a radioactive ant that's, sort of Spider-Man-ish, sort of The Fly.
During a cavity X-ray, by the way. But this is completely believable for the time.
Yeah. Because the radioactivity comes from just the X-ray. Yeah, it's and one little thing that I thought was kind of fun is the like intense scary music that plays whenever we see the MANT is the music from Creature from the Black Lagoon. The music that would play whenever the creature would appear on screen.
Right.
So I'm sure Dante got the rights to that for this, and it's really fun.
Right. But we, like you were mentioning, though, we're going back and forth between scenes of that. Then there's Sherry watching a couple making out, and she's wriggling, which is shorthand for something. She's getting feelings. How about that?
Yeah. We have Sandra watching it next to Gene. She's kind of grabbing his arm, the classic date.
The kids are pairing up, or getting ready to pair up. We also get hints of the dentist being the evil mastermind who intentionally set up Bill the MANT to be bitten by the ant.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the old man is groping, the old theater chain owner is groping Ruth. Sorry, I called her Carol because that's her character in the MANT. But yeah, and she's like, please stop this. Please stop this.
Yeah, so, and that's sort of going on, there's, in real, or, in the Matinee movie, the theater owner is doing that, and in
she's getting roped in the movie.
Yeah, it's great. And, I think one of the best lines in MANT is, there's a part where the MANT said, he's like, you're complaining to me, but this is no picnic for me either.
And he's like, come on. Is anybody else in the room?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. That was a bit I would make.
Yeah. And doing the, interacting with the audience, there's the government agent who's there trying to fight the MANT, sprays him with bug spray that he's pointing right at the camera, and then mist comes down on the audience, so they feel like they got bug sprayed.
Right. Family safe DDT. Don't look that up, by the way.
Yeah. And I think then we have Stan.
We go to intermission.
Oh yeah.
Where Gene's hey, Stan did want to be with you, but some things did pop up, and it was beyond his control. He had to bring my brother with me to this.
Yeah, he makes up another lie, but it's a lie that's maybe a little more believable, and he's like, he didn't want to embarrass my brother, that's why he made up a story for you.
He's like an uncle. To my younger brother.
Yeah.
And she's he's an uncle to your brother? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. We also get I think when the movie comes back, then we get more. We have the MANT breaks open a little ant farm and he's
free my
free
people,
my yeah,
brothers and sisters.
Yeah. But then he gets arrested, and his girlfriend in the movie's he shouldn't be, he didn't do anything wrong. He shouldn't be in jail. And they're like, well, where should we put him? The funny farm, or the ant farm?
Joe Dante, this was the movie you meant to make, right? This is what you really want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I feel this really does kind of encapsulate a lot about Joe Dante. It's a shame that it's not a more well known amongst his his Gremlins and The Howling, I think, are probably the two main things people know him for. But this is so fun.
And then of course Sherry comes in and she's having feelings still, so she says, "Oh, Stan, you're such a hero." Starts making out with him immediately.
Yeah. So they're, everything's working up, as you said. The kids are all pairing off. They're everything's coming together there.
Well, that is until the MANT attacks.
And they do the great bit where like this, the screen looks like it rips and the MANT is like bursting out of the screen at them.
Well, the general's literally saying, "Oh, he's coming to a theater near you. He's attacking you." Yeah.
Yeah, which is really really good stuff. And I think that's when Starkweather runs into the theater in the MANT costume. He sees Sherry and Stan making out, and so he literally, he's just supposed to be there to scare people, but suddenly he's really attacking a patron in the theater,
right?
Which causes a bunch of chaos.
Larry's like, wait, he's actually attacking that kid. Wait, hold up. He tries to like run in and stop it and gets his shit rocked by Starkweather.
Yeah, so now we have, I think Stan runs out, the Starkweather in the MANT costume chases him, Jean's chasing after him, and I think the girls are kind of following after them.
Right. It's a Scooby-Doo segment.
Yeah, and they end up backstage, and somehow, suddenly, they've gotten to, like, the bunker. They found it.
Yeah, Stan finds the shotgun and levels it at Harvey, and he's like, whoa, didn't mean it. Didn't mean to almost kill you there.
Yeah.
And runs off like a coward.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they accidentally abandoned little Dennis in the process, so he gets on a payphone, calls mom, and is like, I don't know where Jean went. Can you come pick me up? So
damn it.
Like, so now she's got to come down to the theater. But meanwhile, Stan and Jean and the girls go into the bunker, and they're like, oh, this is crazy. Look at all this stuff. This is so cool. And
Jean accidentally hits a button.
Yeah, he's like, what does this button do? He presses it, and he's like, I guess nothing, but we see behind them
door closed.
And it's a big, heavy, like, bank vault door, and it's, like, slowly closing, and I think that's when, like, the manager comes down and sees, and he's like, what are you doing? You're going to close it?
Get out of there.
He gets, I think Stan and Sherry get out, but Jean and Sandra get trapped inside the bunker.
Oh, no!
And the manager's panicking because the rumble vision up top is like, the kid didn't listen. He's turned it up too high. He thinks bombs are going off, and he's like, I'm trapped outside of my bunker. I went to all this trouble, and now these two kids are gonna, and he's like yelling this through to them, and they're hearing the shaking. They think there's bombs.
It won't open for months.
So we have Jean and Sandra, and they're like, are we going to be the only people? Are we going to have to repopulate?
Well,
they're like,
we do get Larry and the theater owner going, hey, we got to get this open or the kids are going to suffocate. And Larry surprisingly knows about how to open up doors. So criminal also.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Populating the earth is what Sandra's the one, by the way. She's like, hey, the world's going to end, and we're going to have kids, so let's get to it, buddy.
Yeah, so they start making out. Meanwhile, that's when, Jean's mom arrives to pick up Dennis, and Stan sees her and runs out and is like, Jean's trapped down in this bunker downstairs.
Yeah.
So...
kids are going crazy on the balcony.
Yeah, so, there's so much going on at the end of this. We have... Sandra's parents, they walk out and that movie was too much, but free speech is important, so that and they hear Stan telling Jean's mom about this, and they're like, wait, our Sandra is trapped in a bunker? They head downstairs, and they're trying to get in. Meanwhile, the balcony is so Harvey, he's cranking things up, and so the balcony is kind of at capacity, and now we have a lot of extra shaking going on in the theater. So things aren't going great down there.
But then Harvey runs out, and he's looking for Sandra and Stan, but he decides, I'm going to grab Ruth instead. Yeah,
so he pulls a knife on her, and he's like, I want all the profits of tonight. I'm mad. All this stuff didn't go the way I wanted it to, or whatever. So he
takes her backstage.
Yeah. And then meanwhile,
Larry gives him the money.
Yeah. And then he goes. I think everybody ends up downstairs, and does Larry? How does
Larry
the door
opens
ends
it
up
up?
getting? Yeah. Okay. He breaks the door off its hinges, basically, and
while they're making out, and everyone's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, kids?
Yeah. And they're like,
repopulating there.
yeah, it was just us. We didn't think anybody survived.
Yeah.
And I think then we have... so all the kids come upstairs then and everything, and, like, Harvey ends up, like, trading... like, he lets Ruth go and, like, takes Sherry as a hostage instead.
Yeah.
And he's, like, reciting his poems, and he's like, we're going to go on the run together now.
Right.
But...
Because this kid's smelling his own farts. Mm-hmm. But yeah, at this point, this is when Carol's brought in for dentistry or whatever. But they're basically, the balcony's getting ready to fall, and Larry's like, well, we got to get everyone out of this now.
Yeah. So we're trying to, like, if we shut off the movie, people will start stomping and get mad. They'll be mad, and that could be, like, then the balcony will really collapse. So we got to get everybody out safely and carefully. I think, MANT is still going on. We have, like, scenes of, like, that now the dentist has also, he's grown an ant arm, like, he's gotten bit.
We didn't mention that's also character actor William Schallert.
Yeah. And then we have, I think, Woolsey figures this out, like, the way to get everybody going is, like...
a nuclear bomb, basically, to get them out.
Yeah, like, the MANT, like, just suddenly stops abruptly. It looks like there's a bomb going off, and the crowd kind of panics, and they're like, let's get out in an orderly fashion. We don't know what's going on, so they all get outside, and then that's when I think Harvey gets Sherry in a car, and he tries to, like, speed off, but, like, he crashes.
Almost runs over Stan. Yeah, he runs into a cop car.
Yeah. So Sherry gets away, and meanwhile the cops capture Harvey, and we have, the mom and Jean are trying to find Dennis, and they realize that he's the last one on the balcony. Of course, that's how it had to end. So the balcony is pulling away from the wall. There's, like, a gap, and they have to, like, grab his hand at the last second and pull him to safety as the balcony crashes. And, Dennis is like, I think the theater's on fire. And Jean's like, no, it's not. It's just part of the movie.
Right. It's movie magic as Larry finally shuts everything off.
Yeah. So yeah, they all come out, and then, like, we have, like, a firefighter walking. He's like, "There's no fire. Why did people call the fire department?" And Wolfie's like, yeah. So yeah, success all around. He got everybody out to safety and everything. Meanwhile, the manager's outside, and he's like, "Everybody go home. The second showing is canceled. The theater."
And everyone's like, "No, we want more. We want more."
Yeah, and so the guy who owns the whole chain is like, okay, so this did well. I'd like to work with you. I think you're really onto something with all of your processes, gimmicks. They work.
How about we have ghosts zipping over lines, dripping blood?
They try to think of other ways to scare the audience that are safer and everything. The manager's really mad that the theater got wrecked, and Woolsey's like, that wasn't me, that was all this kid, and the cops already got him, so we're good there.
We're pinning it all on the one kid, right?
Yeah. And so Gene is, like, standing there next to Woolsey as he's talking about all these, like, gimmicks and stuff. And he's like, man, Mr. Woolsey, it's really hard to believe you're a grown-up. These are cool, like, ideas that kids would have. And Ruth is like, yeah, it is kind of hard to believe he's a grown-up.
Right, yeah. But it's like she loves him for it, right?
Yeah, and I really liked what Woolsey says here, too, where he's like, kid, you think grown-ups know what they're doing? That's all a hustle. That's all. Yep. We're fooling you. We're making it up as we go along, just like you are. We just have a little bit more experience doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Actual facts right there.
Absolutely, yeah. And so that's sort of like kind of we're now into like the falling action of the movie. That was kind of like the last big thing.
Cuban Missile Crisis ends. Everyone survives. We didn't all go extinct at that time. Surprise.
Yeah. And like that's all sort of paid off as like Woolsey's like, check out the headlines we got from everything. This is really going to do stuff. And he's
where?
like, oh, Yeah, he's like, it's down below the fold on like page 3. I mean, Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, come on, we were up against big news, but we're in here, we're in the paper, and then we have like, Woolsey and Ruth, like they're headed to Cleveland for the next big opening.
Right, but he actually says, "Hey, those kids are going to do all right," and he's like, I kind of like kids. I think we should have some. And Ruth's like, "Well, you got to be married." And he's like, "Yeah, you do, don't you?" So let's fix that. And she's actually happy. She's like,
yeah, I like her response to that. She's like, "Wow, you really are the shock expert. Like you surprised me with that one." And he again goes into like the way that the Cuban Missile Crisis ties into monster movies here, where he's like, those teens, like they are going to really like the next few weeks for them are going to be so special. They're going to feel so elated in everything they're doing because for a second there, they thought the world was over. And she's like, yeah, but is that going to last? And he's like, yeah, it'll last a couple of weeks, but then there'll be another thing that's scary or another monster movie. Or there's always more coming attractions.
As much as you want them to stop, please stop.
Yeah. And so, we see them drive off, and then we see Jean and Sandra go sit on the beach as we see, soldiers coming in on boats and military choppers flying overhead.
A little propaganda there for you at the end.
Yeah, and of course we have The Lion Sleeps Tonight play again. So, again, really tying this whole thing that there's still a lion, but now everything seems calmed down. Maybe things can be asleep for a little bit at least. So, I think there's just really a lot going on in this. Like, and of course, I think the fact that this is made in the 90s, which is right as the Cold War is ending.
Wave of positivity, just massive wave.
Yeah, and I think Joe Dante wants to be like, don't forget, like this cycle keeps happening, and it's going to keep happening. But
we come out of it at the end, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a hopeful movie. I think it's a movie about how art helps us get through the scary times and reminds us of the scary times when we're in the good times, so that we can continue to learn from the past. I think that's definitely, especially in the moment when it came out, I think that's what he's saying, is like, don't forget, like, this could come back, and it's important that we do everything we can to try to keep it from happening. And and it's gonna happen, but we should keep learning and keep growing.
Human-made art.
Yeah. So I think this movie it's great in that it's really fun. It's a love letter to the kinds of movies that I love, and is one of those kinds of movies at the same time. But it also has it has a political message. It has a message about the world we live in, and the mistakes that we keep making, and is hopeful that maybe in the next cycle it'll be a little better. And of course, where we are now, it kind of feels like, well, we sure didn't manage that, but it continues to feel hopeful that, like, maybe next time, maybe it's going to keep going, and all we can do is just keep hoping and fighting and trying to be better for the next go round.
Absolutely.
So I really like this movie. I think it's a movie that is evergreen. It's the message is always a useful one, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we need that in this time, right? So hopefully we get something like this again, and or also hopefully this pattern stops. But I mean, I think that's all we got to say about that.
Yeah, I think that's it for this one.
Boy, so Anthony, next time we're maybe not as hopeful, but also kind of hopeful, at least horny, because I believe next time we'll be doing Frankenstein in a women's prison.
Yes, yeah. So this one is super horny, trashy. It's a whole big mess. So join us next week for that one. That should be entertaining.
Absolutely.
It's been a while since I have seen this one before, and it's just straight trash, but it'll be fun. Yeah. So definitely less to think about in it, but join us for that. pleasant distraction, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But also, just to keep hawking my wares that I'm working on is, Yokai Tea Party. It's coming to Gen Con this year. So whenever you see those events pop up, hop in, hang out with me, a couple friends that'll be running with it. And yeah, then hopefully we'll have a Kickstarter. So...
Yeah, I guess since the last time we were on here together, I have gotten to play it, and yeah, we did a play test of it a couple weeks ago, and it was, I had a really great time. It was a couple friends played, and it was neat. We were all kind of, none of us had played it, of course, obviously, so we were all kind of trying different strategies, and it was interesting seeing how they worked and didn't work, and yeah, it was a good time. So I think people are going to be really enjoying this as it becomes available, and Gen Con, I guess as Gen Con gets closer, we'll definitely, I've got a movie in mind that we could maybe do as Gen Con or the Kickstarter comes up, so we'll definitely we'll be talking more about this as it gets closer, and definitely, watch this space. We'll keep you updated as we know more.
Absolutely. All right.
And,
anything else?
I think, so you can find us always, on all the socials at The Frankencast. You can email us at thefrankencast@gmail.com. We're also still over on YouTube, and of course we're at patreon.com/thefrankencast, where there's always plenty of new stuff over there. Eric and I are still plugging along at the Munsters. We're getting really close to finishing up. Close relatively, but like we're in the sort of home stretch on both Classic and Munsters today. We're having a lot of fun with those, so definitely join us over there for that and all the other things we've got going on the Patreon.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, and one more time, to be continued. Should I maybe go to be continued? To be continued. All right. Whatever.
Looks like you survived another episode. The Frankencast is a production of FCR Media. It's hosted by Anthony Bowman, Eric Velasquez, and Hayden Orr. Follow us online at The Frankencast, or send us a letter at thefrankencast@gmail.com. Our cover art is by Amanda Keller. You can find her at Keller Illustrations on Instagram. Our theme music is by Vivek Abhishek. Thanks for listening.